Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and we're here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning and welcome. We have a full house this morning. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally and Commissioner John Kafalis. To our right from the clerk's office, helping us with note-taking, we have Lindsay Jones, our county manager, Lorenda Volker, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's office. So welcome to all of you as well. We will begin, as we always do, with public comment. I don't have anyone signed up, but we are welcome to take public comment, and we would give you 3 minutes. So is there anyone in the audience who wanted to give public comment? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Sarah, was there anyone who wanted to call in with public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, then we'll close public comment for the morning and just remind people that you're always welcome to join us at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays for public comment. You can also email or call the commissioners if you have any public comments to give. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes, and I'll ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make a motion for that.
Certainly, Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of October 27th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. And we'll move on to Sarah Martin with our upcoming schedule review. And this will be 2 weeks worth of schedule because we will not be meeting next Tuesday because of Veterans Day.
This is the Commissioner schedule for November 10th through the 16th, 2025. On Monday, November 10th, from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., there will be a budget hearing and proposed landfill and Estes Park, Red Feather Lakes, and Wellington transfer station fee rate increase in the hearing room on the first floor. On Tuesday, November 11th, the Larimer County offices will be closed due to Veterans Day. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., commissioners will attend the Community Justice Alternatives Veterans Breakfast at 2307 Midpoint Drive in Fort Collins. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., the commissioners may attend the Poudre Valley Hospital Behavioral Health Unit Tour and Ribbon Cutting event at 1024 South LeMay Avenue in Fort Collins. On Wednesday, November 12th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Workforce Development Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Rural Action Caucus meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Environment, Energy, and Land Use Policy Steering Committee. From 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Agricultural Advisory Board meeting at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins. From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Emergency Services Sustainability Task Force meeting, location to be determined. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., there will be a Commissioner/Planning Commission work session in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the first floor. On Thursday, November 13th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Fort Collins 2025 Business Appreciation Celebration at Bach 1 Events at 428 Linden Street in Fort Collins. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally will attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Fall Retreat at Center Point Plaza at 14980 East Alameda Drive in Aurora. From 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will speak at Larimer County 101 in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Behavioral Health Administrative Organization Region 2 Advisory Council meeting. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Finance Committee meeting. On Friday, November 14th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Fall Retreat at Center Point Plaza at 14980 East Alameda Drive in Aurora. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundance Elected Fellowship Training in Tempe, Arizona. From 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. On Saturday, November 15th, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundance Elected Fellowship Training in Tempe, Arizona. From 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will speak at the Larimer County 101 at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland. From 10:45 a.m. to 11:45 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will speak at the Larimer County 101 at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland. From 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the Larimer County 101 graduation ceremony at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland. And on Sunday, November 16th, from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Abundant Elected Fellowship Training in Tempe, Arizona. And this is the Commissioner's schedule for November 17th through the 21st, 2025. On Monday, November 17th, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual statewide Transportation Advisory Committee and Transportation Commissioner Coordination meeting. From 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Larimer County Opioid Abatement Advisory Group meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., there will be a work session with Laura Walker, Human and Economic Health Services Director, in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Leveraging Resources meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources, in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, November 18th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Keep It Colorado Public Agency Roundtable meeting in Centennial. From 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Feeding Colorado Day of Action at the Food Bank for Larimer County Administrative Office at 5706 Wright Drive in Loveland. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting at 2307 Midpoint Drive in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Larimer County Fair and Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association Appreciation Dinner at Home Run Bar and Grill at 5290 Arena Circle in Loveland. On Wednesday, November 19th, from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the National Association of Counties 2025 Rural Action Caucus Leadership Fly-In in Washington, D.C. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the Open Lands and Parks Advisory Board meeting at Longview Behavioral Health Campus at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the Community Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Larimer County Loveland Campus at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, November 20th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Housing Catalyst Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1715 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins or virtually via Boardable. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the National Association of Counties 2025 Rural Action Caucus Leadership Fly-In in Washington, D.C. From 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., there will be a special Board of County Commissioners meeting for certification of the abstract of assessment report for the Assessor's Office in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may participate in the virtual Colorado System of Care Implementation Advisory Committee meeting. From 12:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will speak at Larimer County 101 at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins. From 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Larimer County 101 graduation ceremony at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization Finance Committee meeting. From 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Land Stewardship Advisory Board meeting at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Board of Health meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. On Friday, November 21st, from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual NOCO Partners meeting. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Middle Income Housing Authority Board meeting. And from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will host a community conversation for the Red Feather Lakes community. Guests will be Matthew Pahanen, Budget Team Lead, and Alex Jordan, Budget Analyst, who will discuss the 2026 Larimer County budget. This will be at 58 Firehouse Lane in Red Feather Lakes.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a lot of schedule to read through. Any corrections or additions, Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, that was a lot. It seems like everything's trying to get crammed in before the holiday. I wanted to add that I'll be at the Veterans Parade in Loveland on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. I believe it starts at 11. I haven't been informed which entry I'm walking with, but I'm walking with some other electeds in that meeting. And of course, our Veteran Services gentleman, Lee Cooper, is going to be in his usual attire with his musket that starts the parade. So I'll certainly be standing next to him when he does that. So I wanted to add that. I want to make sure on Wednesday, November 12th, the tent will be location determined. It's going to be virtual. And I'm going to attend virtually for that meeting. That's the State Emergency Medical and Trauma Services Advisory Council subcommittee meeting. And then on the Thursday the 13th, even though I'm at the conference, I'm going to jump in and I have the behavioral health. I think that's one of my first meetings, but also wanted to jump in and and hear from the Office on Aging. So I would say probably between 1:30 and 2, I will be, or 2:15, I'll be trying to jump in and listen and be a part of that. So wanted to make sure. It's a busy day. It seems Thursdays are becoming the new Monday and Tuesday. And then on the 10:30, it's on my calendar that I plan to stay on Saturday the 15th. I plan to stay till 10:45. I'm not speaking, but I'll be also still at the Larimer 101. I plan to stay and hang out and then come later for the graduate. So I will be there until 10:45 as well. But I'm speaking from 9:30 to 10, but it's on my calendar that was on that I would be staying. And then the Keep It on November 18th, Tuesday, the Keep It Colorado, I'm going to have to respectfully decline because I will need to get on a plane to DC, and that was just something added because I was requested to fly in to DC to talk about rural issues and meet with the USDA. So I will be needing to travel since that's way far away, and so that changes that. And then on the Wednesday, the 19th, I'm still planning, because I won't have anything in the evening, to be attending virtually the 5 and the 6. So that's still on. And then I'll be coming back in the afternoon. So I may attend on the 20th, but that will be virtual, since I can't teleport that quickly from Denver to Horsetooth, but I'll try. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis?
Good morning, Good morning. Regarding Saturday.
Can you turn your mic on?
I think that was a message from God that I should turn my mic on. Yes, indeed, I have done so. Thank you for the reminder, Justine. So on November 15th, I plan to attend parts of the Community Justice Alternatives warrant clearance event. And since it looks like there may be two of us where there at the 10:45 to 11:45 a.m. Speaking at the Larimer County 101, I may revisit that. Not sure if we need two of us there, so I may change that. And then finally, the Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting on November 18th, Tuesday, 12 to 1:30. I would change the will to a may, because I think it is unlikely that I'll be able to attend, since I'll be participating at the food bank for Larimer County that morning.
Thank you, Commissioner. So there's just one discrepancy. There seems to be the graduation for LC 101 on November 15th, and then I'm listed for a graduation for LC 101 on the 20th. I don't think there's two graduations, so maybe we can just clear that up. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. All right, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is the consent agenda, and I'll read through the consent agenda. Let's see. All right. We have 17 petitions for abatement or refund of taxes, and lucky for the audience, I will not read through all 17, but you can find those online if you wish to. We have 3 agreements. The first is a professional services agreement. This is an agreement for an upfit of services for Larimer County vehicles. Services include lighting packages, graphics, custom vaults, gun locks, fuel cells, air compressors, inverters, custom wiring, harness, and various other needs. As you can tell, that's not for a normal car, likely for a sheriff's car, and the total dollar amount is unknown. Second agreement is bid number B2515PN341, is a contract award for a bridge replacement at North Monroe over Dry Creek. Bridges are expensive, and this one will cost approximately $2.9 million. The next agreement is agreement of purchase and sale of real property. This is a sale agreement of 1303 North Shield Street, and that will be being sold to City of Fort Collins. We have 10 appointments to boards and commissions. We have an appointment to the Agricultural Advisory, a reappointment to the Agricultural Advisory Board for Martha Sullins and Brad Justice, who will serve terms through November 30th of 2028. 3 reappointments to the Fair Board, Michelle Wilcox, Becca Walter, and Stephanie Morrison, with terms ending November 30th, 2028. A midterm appointment to the Workforce Development Board for Michael Kova and Richard Martinez. Again, they have terms that run through June 30th of 2028. A reappointment to the Cottonwood Shores Public Improvement District for Norman West, who will serve a term through November 30th of 2029. A midterm appointment to the Manor Ridge Estates Public Improvement District for Stephen Devlin, and his term will end November 30th, 2028. A recommended midterm appointment to the Meadows at Rolling Hills Public Improvement District for Marcus Hyman, who will serve through November 30th of 2028. An appointment to the Poudre Overlook Public Improvement District for Gloria Jones, Jeff Ballweber, and David Thomashaw, and those terms will end November 30th, 2029. A recommended midterm appointment to the Red Feather Lakes General Improvement District for Patrick Grissom and Mike Sibbald, with terms ending November 30th, 2028. Midterm appointment to the Ridgewood Meadow Public Improvement District for Terry Wardlaw and Kathy Boyd, with terms ending November 30th, 2028. And finally, an appointment to the Vine Drive Public Improvement District for Jason Helms for terms beginning December 1st and ending November 30th, 2029. So thank you to all the people who have agreed to serve on boards and commissions. That is a great service to the county. We have one deed as a Poudre Valley Rural Electric Association right-of-way easement underground. This is for electrical services from the street to the transformer location at our new emergency services project site. And then 3 miscellaneous items, which are the last items on the agenda. The first is the Larimer County Department of Human Services third quarter payments for human services. We have an order and assessment to place a lien on a property for cost expended pursuant to our rubbish ordinance, and that's in the amount of approximately $28,000. And then an order assessment for 24 CCR 0017. And that is also to place a lien on a property for costs expended pursuant to our rubbish ordinance, and that's in the amount of approximately $3,000. So that is it for our consent agenda. Would either commissioner want to remove anything from the consent agenda? All right, then I will ask Commissioner Kofalis to make a motion on this item, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for November 4th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes 3-0. So we'll move on to our discussion items, which I think is why most people are here, although I bet you enjoyed the consent agenda. Our first proclamation is for National Native American Heritage Month. This was submitted by our Assistant County Manager, and we will be proclaiming November 2025 as National Native American Heritage Month in Larimer County. And I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I believe, has a guest, and I'll let you introduce your guest.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for this opportunity to introduce the guests and also talk a little bit about this proclamation. As you know, my colleagues on the dais, that we have a lot of support from our County Manager, Lauren DeVolker, and our Assistant County Manager, Lori Kadrich, who helps with proclamations, and Melissa Farr as well. I want to give them a shout out because we have several, and it's really important. These are meaningful and things that we matches our values. And I wanted to share that our Community Advisory Board had a while back, a few months ago, requested that we add this. We have an Indigenous Peoples Day, but they wanted to add this one to our list of ones we do every year. And so we had voted to do that. And I wanted to thank Lori and the board and all of us as we worked through that proclamation and trying to make sure it matched for Larimer County and our values. And I'm very excited. We're a very active Native American and Indigenous peoples community here in Larimer County. We use the Iron Family Dancers a lot for our blessings at our fair and rodeo, and also they just blessed some of our ranch groundbreaking last week. And another individual who I hold in high regard is here today and brought some family members. I first met her when we met Jane Fonda at CSU. She was a student at CSU, and I think I met her dad that day too. And we were sitting together, and I remember that day. It was quite a beautiful day, and it was a really great message. And I've watched her journey and what she has done for the last several years, being a very strong voice of the community. And we've talked about some repair in the community and other areas, and she's been doing some amazing work. So I asked her to be here today to receive this proclamation, and just grateful for all that she does. So needless to say, I just wanted to kind of invite her to come up and say a few words. Delilah, would you mind coming up, introducing yourself, bring up your family, anyone else you'd like to bring, and would love to have you say a few words, and then we'll read the proclamation and then take a photo. And just grateful for everyone to be here today. Thank you, Delilah.
Anin Delilah Indigenous Anishinaabe Nihawe. Hello, my name is Delilah Marie Lopez. I'm an enrolled member of the Chippewa Cree tribe from Rocky Boy Reservation in Montana. And here today I have my daughter Angelina and a youth from the community who is just amazing, and her name is Annabella. And do you want to introduce yourselves? Go ahead. Say what school you go to and how
Hi, I'm Angelina, and I go to Irish Elementary.
Hi, I'm Annabella, and I go to Timnitz Middle High. And I just want to say thank you for having us here today. It's really important that we have representation. I think a lot of times people don't see us and don't know that we still exist today. And so I just want to let you know that we are here. I've lived in Fort Collins for 27 years. I grew up in the Poudre School District. I am a current graduate student at CSU, and I also graduated there with my bachelor's in 2024. So thank you.
Thank you, Delilah. And don't go anywhere. Also, would you just share a little bit of what you're doing with your graduate work? I think the community might be interested in what you're studying. I think it's really relevant and important work.
Yes, so when I went to CSU for my undergraduate, I got my degree in ethnic studies and my minor in Indigenous studies. I was actually the first one to get that degree at CSU because they didn't offer Indigenous studies prior to that. And I started working with the CSU Center for Environmental Management of Military Lands, doing research on federal Indian boarding schools. And I worked there for 1.5 years, and now I'm getting my Impact MBA, which focuses on sustainability. And I really want to bring what I learned in my undergraduate into that program. I'm actually the first Native American in that program, and it's in its 19th cohort. So I think it's very important that we have representation. Sustainability has been something that my ancestors has practiced for many generations. And so I kind of switched my path, but I hope I still get to serve my people, my community, and bring representation into where I go.
Thank you. I just really am always impressed with the work that you do and how you represent, and just some of the difference you've already made in the community. And I just want to share, Madam Chair, I'm really proud too of the Colorado Forest Health Council, because we've made sure that we have in our forest health plan and in our mission that we include Indigenous voices from the nations and tribes in Colorado to be part of that work. And we do promote it and make sure that Indigenous and Native American practices for beneficial fire and practices for wildfire are encouraged and practiced and brought into the discussion for the state of Colorado. So I'm really proud of that work too. So I wanted to share that. So I will read that proclamation and make the motion if that's okay, Madam Chair.
That's great. Thank you.
So if you all if you will just stay there and we'll reread this, and you can turn to us, we'll read it to you because then the cameras can see all of you really well. So thank you. So proclamation for the National Native American Heritage Month, November 2025. Whereas the month of November is designated as Native American Heritage Month and was formalized in 1990 by the United States federal government. Both the law and proclamation recognize American Indians as the first inhabitants of the lands that now constitute the United States, as well as making mention of their contributions to American society. November is a time to distinguish, honor, and applaud the long history, heritage, and language of the original people inhabiting this country. And whereas North America has been inhabited for at least 12,000 years by numerous indigenous and native peoples, the area that encompasses present-day Larimer County has been inhabited up to the modern era by indigenous peoples from the Clovis and Folsom cultures to Native American groups including the Ute, Lakota, Apache, Comanche, Kiowa, Arapaho, and Cheyenne. This land has a rich Native history. Tragically, the indigenous peoples were either killed or forced out by the United States soldiers and new colonists, and Whereas the United States Census Bureau approximates the Native American population in the United States to be nearly 7 million people, about 3% of the population. Locally, Larimer County's Native American population is 2,660, or 1% of the population. And whereas Indigenous peoples' rights continue to be abused as they are driven off their lands, face extermination, suffer hundreds of broken treaties, endure disregard and violence towards tribal and national leadership, and endure prohibition to express their rich culture, stewardship of the earth, and spirituality. And whereas the Native and Indigenous peoples community in Larimer County has shown unyielding courage and resolute resilience to address prejudice and discrimination, we attempt to mend the suffering of past persecution and breach of trust by listening to and supporting Native American perspectives, cultures, and voices. Whereas we ask Larimer County residents and visitors to rebuke hate based on race or ethnicity and honor the contributions and achievements of Native and Indigenous peoples. We strive to create a robust, fair, and safe community for all Larimer County residents and visitors. Whereas the Native history of Colorado is an important part of the state's identity, and the tribes are still a strong and vibrant part of its culture. And we acknowledge the rich history and significant contributions of the Native and Indigenous peoples to the United States, especially the many who have served in the military, contributed to our literature, art, food, and medicines. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Larimer County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2025 as National Native American Heritage Month in Larimer County, Colorado, and welcome residents and visitors to celebrate the contributions of Native and Indigenous peoples to our lives throughout the city, state, county, and nation. Dated this 4th day, thank you, was thinking already it's next week, 4th day of November 2025. And Madam Chair, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the proclamation for Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Would you like to make some remarks?
Yeah. Again, I just want to thank Delilah and her family and her community to come today. I'm really grateful for you to come and to receive this, and appreciate the what you have done in the community to help raise awareness and raise your voices, and I think represent is really important. Discussion that it's not just representing but active actions, and I hope today you feel this proclamation is an action, and we're showing to our support of this proclamation, but just for the representation and voices, and with our actions with our Indigenous blessings and Native American blessings of the Behavioral Health Center and the ranch groundbreaking, and we've done that several times, and it's very meaningful for us. I know, especially me personally, just having that ability to connect and make sure we do that land proclamation and acknowledge that as well. I want to thank you for doing this, because I kind of like said, hey, we're doing this, can you come? So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know being a student and you coming from school should have to make sure you show your teacher a proclamation so that you can show that, hey, you're here. I'll write you a note. I'm just so glad to have the youth here as well. So thank you, Delilah. And I just want to hope that we honor and respect this important history and heritage that is so important for Larimer County. And a lot of this land that we are on was for 12,000 years, really home to the original people. And I'm glad that we're taking this moment today. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few additional thoughts, comments for your consideration. First of all, much gratitude to you, Delilah, and is it Angelina?
Yes.
And Isabella?
Annabella.
Thank you for being present and for all your work in the community, and for representing younger generations that give us older folks a lot of hope, especially these days. Secondly, I'd like to acknowledge that another important partner in this proclamation It's from the Overland Trail chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Ray Todd, Vice Regent. They had a role in suggesting that we needed to do this. I think the proclamation states very eloquently why it's important to recognize Native American Heritage Month and specifically a day. But in the email that we received from Ray Todd, I'll just share the NSDAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution, supports Native American history and has a monthly report given by our local chapter committee chair. We also support the American Indian College Fund yearly, so that's important for folks to know. And beyond that, I think there's a growing, my final comment, growing recognition, understanding, realization, acceptance that Native American traditions, philosophies, values, the relationship with the earth are really important for us to learn from and actually do and be. And so I think we all share in that appreciation for that wisdom. Finally, two opportunities for folks to participate during the year, although both of these have passed. There is typically the Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow that occurs at the Northside Azatlan Center, which is a great opportunity to interact with all sorts of folks, see a lot of different colorful um, traditional dress and dances. And then just this weekend, I believe, was the Colorado State University. I believe it was the 41st annual powwow. And again, those are two wonderful opportunities, and grateful that the Iron family and other groups are able to participate in some of our events and provide more than needed ground blessing ceremonies and sage ceremonies. I think all of that is really great and wonderful and important. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just add my thanks. Thank you. Is there anything you wanted to add? Please go
Yes, I
ahead.
just wanted to kind of also just say that both of these young women dance, and I'm just very proud of them. Annabella is also a mentor for Native youth in K through 12 at a summer camp that I used to work at, and I'm just very proud of her, and I love her spirit, and like you said, the youth really give me hope as well. So I'm learning from them. If you do attend a powwow, you will see them dancing. So just wanted to say that.
Wonderful. Well, we will look forward to that. And I just want to echo my thanks. Thank you again for being here. Thank you to Commissioner Shattuck McNally for inviting you to be here today. We really appreciate that. I think you said it best when you said reminding folks that you are here, right? And that you have a presence in our community and in our country. And I think that was, the most important, profound thing we need to hear is like, pay attention and be aware of the people that are here and the people that were here first. And so we're grateful for you being here and keeping and sharing your culture with us, honestly. That's a gift to us that you give. So we really appreciate it. I just, we acknowledge a lot of the painful past, and I was honored to be able to go to the Wounded Knee massacre site this summer, which was deeply moving and, felt like a moment where, we need to atone for some of the things that our country has done to Native peoples over the years. So this proclamation is both an acknowledgement of what we've done in the past, pain that our country and violence that our country has caused, and really a commitment to do better in the future and to acknowledge you and all the Native peoples across the land that bring joy and wonderful things to our community that we need to respect and honor and appreciate. So really appreciate you being here to accept this proclamation. If you're willing to stick around after we take this vote, we would love to take a photo if that would be fine. Okay, wonderful. So
Madam Chair, can I just add one more
please
comment?
go ahead. Yep.
I wanted to just also, there's other events happening in across Larimer County. There's the First Peoples Festival up in Estes Park, which will be happening either January or February coming up. And that's organized by Nico Strangeowl, which that's why I'm wearing this ring today. That comes from her family and involved with, that's where her ancestors had a trading post and very active in that area. So keep your eye out for that. I don't know the dates. I was trying to look that up, but that was it was a fairly large gathering last year. So I appreciate her work to do that. She's part of the Cheyenne of Northern Cheyenne tribe of Montana too as well. But they came down here this summer. So wanted to share that, and I want to just apologize for Ray. Ray Todd, I wanted to see Madam Chair if she wanted to speak quickly. If I forgot you were coming. I apologize. I had the notes here, and it's my oversight. And thank you for coming, Ray Todd. And I wanted to just say I'm sorry I didn't pull that out and recognize that, but I just thought maybe Madam Chair, but okay, maybe before we vote to see if she wanted to add anything. Thank you.
Sure. We're taking a lot of time between the vote. Let's vote, and then we'll have her speak. So all in favor of this proclamation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Ray, we'd love you to speak.
Thank you for this opportunity. National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution has a very robust appreciation for Indigenous and Native American people. In fact, this may be of interest. Scholarship season just opened, and they do have 3 scholarships specifically for American Indian Indigenous peoples. So I encourage any of the students, wherever they are, to apply for these.
Perfect. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, always good to find some scholarship money, especially when you're in grad school. So, all right. Well, wonderful. Thank you, Ray. All right. So we will pause now to take a photo, and then we'll be back. All right, we are back with our second proclamation for the morning, and that is a proclamation supporting Operation Greenlight for Veterans, November 4th through 11th, 2025. And I believe we have Ken Cooper from Facilities and Tricia Reynolds from the Veteran Service Office to kick this one off. So welcome.
I'm Tricia Reynolds from the Veteran Service Office. Operation Greenlight That initiative began in 2021, and I just looked up some statistics on the National Association of Counties. In 2023, 300 counties participated. 2024, 450, and I'm proud to say Larimer County has been part of that every year. I'm really grateful to Ken Cooper and his team for all that they do to support this initiative and to honor veterans throughout Larimer County. And I hope that the citizens of Larimer County will put a green light bulb on their porch for this week as well.
Very good. Thanks, Tricia. Yeah, Ken Cooper, Facilities Director. We're always excited to come in front of you at this time of year for this proclamation and the green light that will start tonight at dusk. We'll have this building, so 200 West Oak, and then 200 Peridot, our Larimer County Loveland campus, will also be lit up again this year. And special thanks to Rowdy and Barb and Chad and actually Brian Larson, who wasn't able to come this morning, but they were all instrumental in getting those things put together and having the actual installation happen. I think Sarah's got a few images that we can throw up quickly. So this is just a quick shot of what's involved with the installation itself. You can fly right through them, Sarah. That's Rowdy and Brian up on the lamps themselves, and then here's some images from 2024 that show what it'll look like tonight. And this will extend through the evening of Veterans Day, so it'll be a week worth of green light. Looks beautiful at each of those buildings, and we again appreciate the support for it. Appreciate the veterans and all that it signifies for the amazing sacrifice that each has given, and we appreciate the opportunity to share that today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Any questions for Ken before?
Just real quick, did you say the green lights begin today?
Correct. Yeah, tonight they'll light up tonight at dark, and that'll continue at dark through the week right into Veterans Day. So we'll remove them on the 12th, so the day after Veterans Day.
Are you encouraging the community to turn on green lights as well?
Always do. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ken and Trish. I appreciate, and thank you all for being here today. I'm really proud that we're one of the first counties to do this, and when we asked, you guys stepped up, made it happen, above and beyond as usual from our staff. And I'm just curious, since we started this in 2023, I know we learned about it at the National Association of Counties, and we were really excited to join that first year. What have you learned, and what from lighting it up in both places? Anything different from this year, from the first year? And what have you received any comments or questions from the community asking what is that and what does it mean? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, we do. Thank you. Yeah, we get lots of neat comments from folks, and the 7 News out of Denver ran a story, I think a year ago, through that, and so we got some follow up from people that had seen that presentation, and I'm not sure if it inspired other counties to move forward. I hope it did. Tricia mentioned that the numbers are growing, and certainly as our 4th year in this now, we're really grateful that the county has supported it. It was a pretty nominal investment, honestly, to get it to happen, and the lights have held up. We weren't sure they would, so that's been great as well. So thank you.
Thank you, as usual, Ken, for an extremely job well done. We appreciate your diligence and dedication. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just echo my thanks. Thank you, Ken and Tricia. And did you say Rowdy, Brian, and Barb? Did I get the names right?
Yeah, with us today is Chad Fry,
Chad.
And Barb Andrews and Rowdy Putnam.
Right. Okay.
And Brian Larson was also in the in images. He was unable to come.
Okay. Well, thank you all for doing that work too. I want to. I was at NACO a couple weeks ago at the headquarters in DC, and I said, we've been doing this all along, and they were like, oh my gosh, send your pictures, of course, tell us your stories. And I was like, one of the things that I love is that Ken has always invited the people who actually do the work, who make this happen, to come along. And I think that piece is really nice and important to remember that this is a little extra work for y'all. And that we're appreciative of that, of you taking the time to do that. And I just think this is such a lovely visual reminder that we need to respect and honor our veterans. So very well done. So I'm going to have, go ahead, Commissioner.
Well, I understood your direction to ask questions, so I'd like to make a quick comment.
Oh, sure, of course.
Thanks. Echo what these folks have said. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you to the Veterans Service Office. Thanks to Duffy, who's here as well. You guys provide a vital service to our veterans to help them navigate what I presume to be very complicated systems to access their benefits that they've earned with their military service. Thanks to the facilities folks and electricians doing the wiring, whatever you have to do to get the green lights to work. Most grateful for our facility staff. They do such an excellent job of keeping our buildings looking really well, and our gardens and our landscape and all of that. So I guess that's what I wanted to add. Yes.
And it sounds like Commissioner Shattuck McNally would like to add something as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree. I thought it was just a question, so I want to make it a comment. This is something my family has have done, have a green light on our front porch before the county did, before I became commissioner, because it was some businesses and corporations that I think they called it green light event. And so just to bring a showcase to people that need resources. And so it's something with so many veterans in my family that it means a lot to just to take another extra moment, especially during Veterans Day and around that area. I know also the National Association of County Veteran Services Officers also promotes this along with the National Association of Counties, so we're proud to be joining them and doing that work. And I want to thank Tricia for her warm welcome at the Veterans Stand Down this past Friday, as the work that you guys do that is so important for veterans to not feel forgotten and know that they have some resources and how important that is. I think it's great that this work you do year round is getting to be highlighted as well in this week. And I wanted to also take a moment to thank our Larimer County Coroner, Stephen Hanks, who's a veteran, Army veteran, who's done some extraordinary work with the PACT Act, which is making sure that veterans are getting their families are getting their benefits after they have passed. And also he's been really trying to tackle veteran suicide and the suicide fatality review that I've been attending with him. And that work is he has helped a lot of families after a veteran has passed to get benefits. And I know you have been working with him as well. And I just wanted to commend you all for the above and beyond and extra steps and diligence to supporting veterans and their families, and even after a passing of a veteran. I just think that's outstanding. And I'm very proud of us being this green light and the things that we do in the community. And I know your work is ongoing. And I just want to make sure Tricia and Lee and all of you just know how much we appreciate you getting this done. You make it look so easy. And I know that it was a little bit of wrangling, but you guys have done a great job. And Tricia, you are just a bright ray of sunshine for veterans, and it's been such great support for Lee. And maybe we should have you come dress up at the next parade and come join us all. And you should be there on Tuesday, and we'll dress you up in some colonial to hang out with Lee and be at the front of the parade too. So anyway, I just wanted to just express my heartfelt gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lorinda, would you like to say anything?
I guess when this idea came up a few years ago, made the call to Ken to see how we might make the buildings look green. And, it's not as easy as it looks to make it look so beautiful. It really does look very impressive. And the creativity you all took to try to figure out how to do it right so that it reflects on the county, it reflects on our veterans, it reflects on our veteran services staff. We do appreciate all of that extra effort, because figuring out that problem is not always as easy as it seems. And I think not only does it recognize the work that veterans do in our community and the part they play in our community, but also the staff that support them. You all don't make determinations about benefits, but you help veterans find their way through the process. You're navigators, really. And so I hope when you see the green, you recognize that it's in your honor as well.
Thank you, Lorinda. So I'll ask Commissioner Kafalis to read the proclamation, and then we'll take the vote, and then we'll stop and take a photo. Want all of you to join us as well.
Yes, I would be very happy to read the proclamation. Proclamation supporting Operation Greenlight for Veterans, November 4th through 11th, 2025. Whereas the residents of Larimer County, Colorado have great respect for the veterans who have selflessly served our country in the armed forces, and whereas our community has a continuing sense of gratitude to those who have given so much in the defense of the freedoms which we all enjoy, and seeks to honor these individuals who have placed themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, volunteer organizations, religious groups, local governments, and in many other ways. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas studies indicate that between 44% and 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life, and are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas Larimer County is honored to support our Veterans Service Office staff, you all, who provide assistance to veterans and their family members in our community. And whereas Larimer County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be given to them in appreciation of their service and to demonstrate the honor and support they have earned. And whereas Tuesday, November 11th, 2025 is Veterans Day, therefore, be it resolved that Larimer County will participate in Operation Greenlight for Veterans during the week of Veterans Day, November 4th through 11th, 2025, to demonstrate support and honor the service members and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Larimer County encourages residents to recognize the importance of honoring veterans by displaying a green light in their place of business or residence during this week. Signed today.
Thank you, Commissioner. And if you could make the motion too, please.
Yes. I move to approve the proclamation supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes 3-0. So we'll stop for a photo. Thank you.
Thank you all.
We are back, and we're on to our third proclamation for the morning, and that is for National Family Caregivers Month. We have was submitted by Danny Martin, Mark Sleater, Tiffany Ballou from Human Services Department. So I'll ask folks to come forward to talk a little bit about this proclamation, and then we'll read the proclamation.
Good morning. My name is Mark Sleater, and I'm an ADRC specialist in the Office on Aging Family Caregiver Support Program with the Larimer County Department of Human Services. And I'm joined today by the Office on Aging Program Manager Aaron Alt, ADRC Program Supervisor Tiffany Ballou, and my colleague in the Family Caregiver Support Program, Danny Martin, who's standing with me today. Also today, we have two Larimer County residents who are caregivers themselves. Lori Pasco, who cares for her husband, and Mitch Myers, who cares for his mother. And in just a few minutes, you'll hear from both of them as well. Today in Larimer County, we pause to recognize and honor National Family Caregiver Awareness Month with this year's theme, Plug Into Care. And this theme focuses on connection, helping caregivers easily plug into vital support tools, trusted networks, and educational resources that can make the caregiving journey a little less overwhelming. And this is more than a date on a calendar. It's really a time to reflect on the profound role caregivers play in our families, in our neighborhoods, and in our communities. Several statistics were gleaned from the U.S. Aging Innovations in Caregiver Services and Supports Virtual Summit this past September that I'd like to share. Across the United States, 1 in 5 people, which is over 63 million individuals, are providing care to a loved one. That means that here in Larimer County, many of us are either caregivers ourselves or know somebody who is. Caregivers are parents staying up late to manage medications, spouses navigating complex health systems, adult children supporting their aging parents, and grandparents raising their grandchildren. They are our friends, our coworkers, our neighbors, and their devotion is the invisible thread that holds families together. But behind this love is often a heavy cost. 1 in 5 caregivers report their own health has declined because of the stress of caregiving. And half of these caregivers face financial strain, and 1 in 5 cannot afford basic necessities. Too often, the very people who give us much are left without the support they need. At the same time, we face a shifting reality in our demographics. 23% of those who are 50 years of age and older never had children, which means that there will be fewer kin available to provide care as our population ages. And we will be called upon to rely on one another, on extended family members, on friends, on community networks, so that no one is left to age alone. And the intensity of caregiving is also growing. 40% of caregivers provide high-intensity complex care, often tasks that were previously performed only by medical professionals. And caregiving extends beyond elder care. 2.5 million children are being raised by their grandparents or other relatives, family members who step in during times of crisis to give children stability and love. And the scale of this contribution is staggering. The estimated value of unpaid caregiving in the nation is $600 billion per year. But no dollar amounts can really capture the late nights, the constant worry, or the quiet acts of kindness and sacrifices the caregivers give freely every day. So here in Larimer County, we want to recognize that caregivers are not just helpers, but they're heroes. They carry out acts of devotion that often go unseen, yet their impact is immeasurable. Their resilience, compassion, strength deserve more than our gratitude. They deserve our commitment. And so today, with November being National Family Caregiver Awareness Month, let us commit ourselves to honor family caregivers for their selfless contributions, raise awareness of the emotional, financial, and physical toll they carry, and build systems of support both nationally and locally that assist family caregivers to plug into care and strive to ensure caregivers are never left to shoulder the responsibility alone. So to every caregiver here in Larimer County and beyond, we see you, we honor you, and we pledge to stand beside you. Your sacrifices matter, your work matters, and you matter. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions before we move on to the proclamation? Do you go ahead, Commissioner Cavallis?
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
We do questions and comments or just questions?
Let's do questions and comments because otherwise it feels like we have a lot between the actual motion and the vote.
I have 3 questions. The first one is, would it be possible to get a copy of your statement with all of those data points? That would be very helpful,
Yes, absolutely.
and that would be great.
Okay, and I think we actually have some caregivers here, so why don't we? Sorry, we're going to
Yes,
pivot.
of course. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll have these caregivers speak, and then we'll move on to comments. Okay.
I'd like to introduce Lori Pasco first, and then Mitch Myers after that.
Good morning. I just want to echo the words that were shared today. Meant so much to me. And you have to know, in Larimer County, that's exactly what happens when I have contact with the Office on Aging. And I'll go into more detail about that a little bit later, but thank you for all that you do. All right, so how many of you have used GPS? All right. Life can be like GPS. You type in your destination and follow all the directions until you arrive. Warning, life does not work that way. The directions are flawed, and you may not ever arrive or end up in someplace else. My name is Lori Pasco. I am a caretaker. I've been a caretaker in some form for my husband, Terry, for almost 39 years. He has a dominant hereditary condition named spinocerebellar ataxia. It is a rare genetic disease that manifested itself when he was 30 years old. How do you summarize almost 39 years as a caretaker? Lots of stories and experiences have shaped our lives. We are both 69 years old now, and the caretaking still continues. New normals repeat faster now. Our tribe of support has expanded, and yet we are still in the game. In 1987, when Terry was diagnosed with spinocerebellar ataxia, the celebration of our 8-year anniversary was several months away. We were parents to a 1-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. Our 1-year-old son is now 40 and recently diagnosed with the same genetic condition as his father. Our 3-year-old daughter is now 42 and has shown no symptoms. We have 5 biological grandchildren and 1 gifted grandchild. Time will reveal which grandchildren will inherit the same genetic disease. Caretaking has morphed over the years to meet the challenges of a progressive neurological disease. My focus early on was to give my husband space to grieve what has happened and what will happen as the disease progresses. Most of my focus was to keep things as normal as possible for our young children so they could just be children. At that time, statistics showed that 9 out of 10 marriages ended as a result of having a spouse with a chronic illness. I couldn't let that happen. I fought to keep the family going, thriving and connecting through this journey. More currently, the statistics show 3 out of 10 marriages end in divorce. I would make a guess that families stay together when there is support for the caretakers who are committed to their marriages despite the challenges, access to health care that understands the challenges that come with the condition, or at best uses the patient and the caretaker as advocates for treatment, are other important factors. Preparations and planning to become the financial provider for my family was a shift and a necessity for the survival of our family. I went back to school at the age of 34 to take classes to get my certified teaching license. I took classes on weekends, and when both children were in school full-time, I could take classes while they were in school. Terry, my husband, retired from work in December of 1994 and applied for SSDI. That's the Social Security Disability Insurance. He was approved within 3 months, and the 27-month wait for Medicare approval was in motion. My job then was finding coverage for the interim. QHIP, which is Colorado Underinsured's health insurance program, I don't even know if it's still in existence, it may have another name now. Oh, it was available to him, but it was expensive and covered only a catastrophic event. So we kept our fingers crossed, and the employer that I had did not take pre-existing conditions, so we did have to wait for him to be on there. So it was a little stressful, to say the least. Anyway, my story of caretaking is probably most likely similar to other caretakers, although it is unique as well. My husband and I are each unique individuals that come together to make one unique spirit. The commitment we have to each other and our family is our heart. In the state of Colorado, there's approximately 1,032,000 people doing caretaking for their family, providing largely unpaid and unsupported care to older parents, spouses, and other loved ones. And I just want to mention, my lovely daughter has a lot on her plate right now, but she finds the time to come and help us while she's raising her children as well. I am fortunate as my husband is receiving long-term care, LTC, through Medicaid, so I am able to keep him home with me. He is better at home, and so am I, better when we are together. So caretaking can be isolating for the caretaker. The demands on finances due to the cost of health care, navigating health care, finding mobility aids as his mobility decreased, working, caring for children, and caring for the home are increased on the well spouse. Little time is left for self-care with all the responsibilities. Making connections with neighbors, friends, family, church family, and support groups give me hope that we were being seen in our struggle. And I can't tell you how important that is to be seen. Because the struggle's real, and it's hard. My parents were my main emotional support. I lost both my parents in 2017. My mom and dad were my rocks. I lost my primary advocates and support when they died. About this time last year, my husband's body, Terry, was struggling after he contracted COVID pneumonia. I was overwhelmed with the amount of care that he needed. My sister in Ohio sent a link to the Office on Aging. And I made the phone contact, and I'll always remember Carol, the options counselor, the first one, came and sat at my dining room table with my daughter as my support. And I told our story, and I didn't think they were going to be able to help us. I really didn't. And she said, "Oh, I think we can help you." And she started going on about things that could be available to us. I just literally laid my head down on my dining room table and started crying because I knew there was help, but I didn't know when it would come or what it would look like. And then Tori Wimmer, she was the case manager. She really helped me walk through the process, it's evolved. They kept saying, stick with the process. It takes time, but you will find help. And then, of course, Danny Martin came in with all the, the great things that they offer, classes, and also the events, which I have been able to participate in. And it really has lifted my spirit. It's like I can put aside all of that stuff that goes on during my day and just get to be creative and have fun and talk to other people. It's such a gift. Thank you. Thank you. This disease marches on through my husband's body, and he grieves each loss. I grieve with him, and simultaneously I'm managing the new normal that comes along with each loss. Dang, this is so hard. I'm able to manage on most days with a strong faith and a prayer life. And I would like to introduce my friend Carla. She's one of the many people in our tribe. She came here today to support me while I spoke. So thank you, Carla. I'm able to manage on most days with a strong faith and prayer life. The result is my ever-growing tribe of support in the form of friends, church family, neighbors, healthcare workers, doctors, community support, Office on Aging, the ADA laws, therapists, nurses, technicians, healthcare businesses employees, nonprofits advocating for healthcare support, aides, Medicaid workers, elder care lawyers, perfect strangers, support groups, grocery store services, EMTs, fall assistants, ambulance drivers, colleagues, National Athlete Foundation, Mayo Clinic, Anschutz Medical Center, Stedman Clinic, Stephen Ministers, National Ataxia Foundation, National Institute of Health, Volunteers of America, Lions Club, Foothills Gateway, healthcare equipment businesses, healthcare supplies companies, valets, hotel employees, airline employees, strangers that paved the way before us, my great-grandmother and her brother, my grandmother, and all those unnamed that I do not know. We definitely stand on the shoulders of others. We owe so much to so many. We will try to repay all these beautiful people by sharing and caring as a community to support others on their journey and become a part of other people's tribes. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Morning. It's good to be here. That was really good for me to hear. It's like a ton of resources that I can use and so forth. So I'm Mitch Myers, and I live in Loveland. I live in my mother's home in her basement. For a 68-year-old man, that's a little bit on the, joke side of things. About 5 years ago, my sister called me and told me it's time to come. I was still working. I ran a nonprofit in California. I did childcare for thousands of children, actually, in San Francisco. And so, it's like head down, move forward. So I quit my job, moved here, and then it took me a couple of years to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. But fortunately for me, my family, my sister lives in Loveland and she helps me with my mom. The thing that I found interesting was people were saying, oh, you can get paid for this. And I said, okay, I'll look around and start doing that. The bottom line was I ended up calling the Veterans Department and saying, are there any services for my mother? Because my father was a veteran. And, you had to be 80% disabled to get any help. So they kept giving me places to call, and they finally said, call the Department on Aging. And I did that. They said they had a respite voucher. I applied for the respite voucher. It was actually pretty easy. And I immediately got approved. Mark came and visited the house to make sure there was an old person in the house. And that was great. And they granted us a voucher, me a voucher. So what I've done with that money is I've hired a CNA once a week who comes in and bathes my mother. Where does the relief come? The relief comes is that she's a professional and she was really absolutely fabulous with my mom. Kind and thoughtful. And interestingly enough, she's the only person my mother remembers in the last few years. She comes, she says she knows her. I still have to get my mother into the shower and then turn it over to her, and I can leave her with my mom. And I can take a break. We also do light housekeeping and so forth. My mom is in her own home. She pays all her own bills through her Social Security, which is about $1,300 a month. And then the rest of the resources come from me and my sister, and I'm very appreciative of that. I did want to say, as was mentioned earlier, there are other organizations that I use, so I just wanted to mention them that I get support from. Meals on Wheels, the Food Bank, the library, the Chilson Recreation Center. For my mom's birthday, I gave her massage. So she went to the Chilson and got a nice massage. And then the Berthoud Rec Center, and then the support groups. And I think the one sad thing that has happened recently, is the McGee Hospital Center, Medical Center closing, which was about 3 or 4 blocks from our house. So when my mom fell and broke her arm, she was nearby, and we were able to do that. So I'm disappointed that it's closed, but now we'll come up to Banner here in Fort Collins, and I just want to say this has been a wonderful thing. I was totally surprised to get the respite voucher, but it really has gone. What it's done for me is it's made me a better caregiver because I've been able to watch a professional with my mom and then have someone to talk to who can give me advice, give me guidance. And so it's made every day a better day. So, yeah. And there was a note someone had said earlier about, people without children. So I don't have any children. And last night I was telling my niece how nice it was that our family and how lucky we are to take care of my mother and my niece. And I was talking about how many older people are being abandoned. And my niece actually said, "Well, you don't have to worry about that. I won't abandon you." It was sweet. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Lori. Thank you for sharing your stories. All right, commissioners, now we'll do remarks. Commissioner Kafalis.
Well, yeah, certainly. Thank you to our Office on Aging staff, and very appreciative for your honesty in sharing your personal stories and your dedication to your family members, your mom and your husband and family. I don't have many other words just to say thank you for who you are and what you do for your family, and of course our very able and very cool staff that does important work. I still have 2 more questions. May I offer those?
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. And one is, Mark, earlier you used an acronym ARDC. Would you be kind enough to explain that acronym?
Yeah, so the ADRC is the Aging Disability Resource Center, and it's part of the Office on Aging.
And why is that important? What do you all do?
I can let the program supervisor, if she wants to. I'll let her.
Thank you. Well, and I just want to give a huge kudos to Danny and Mark as well. And thank you again, caregivers, for taking the time out of your day to come and share their testimony. Danny and Mark are both caregivers themselves. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. So the support that they're providing to our community comes through their own experience too. And for the ADRC, to answer your question, the Aging and Disability Resource Center is an arm of the Office on Aging, and we provide several services. I won't get into all of them, but I will say we speak with 400, on average, 430 or so individuals in our community on a monthly basis and receive around 500 emails a month as well. So we speak with a lot of community members here in Larimer County, across the state, and across the nation.
And what is the website for folks to access the services of ARDC?
Absolutely. The best place to come learn about the Office on Aging and the ADRC is larimer.gov/seniors. Our ADRC phone number is on there. Folks can call or text if there's, an issue there. We also have the ability to connect folks with interpreters to make sure that everybody has access to us and our resources in their mother language. And folks can also email us at aging@larimer.gov.
Thank you. May I ask my final question? And that is, our wonderful caregivers mentioned the respite voucher. Could someone explain more about the caregiver respite program that we have through the Office on Aging and why that's important? Yay, Danny.
So the Family Caregiver Support Program has 2 respite voucher programs. One is for caregivers caring for an older adult, and they can use that funding to hire somebody to come in and provide care to their loved one. That could be family, friends, neighbor, professional, elder house, or they can use it for something like house cleaning or meal prep, anything to give them a break. And it's a reimbursement style program. And then we have another one for grandparents raising grandchildren, and they can use that towards after school programs, daycare costs, house cleaning, sports fees, things like that, that will give them a break too.
Thank you kindly.
I would also just like to add, those are just the 2 voucher programs that are part of the Family Caregiver Support Program. We also provide free caregiver classes, Powerful Tools for Caregivers, Stress Busting. That class schedule will also be on our website and is coming out for the 2026 year. And in addition to that, we also do some caregiver events, as Lori mentioned, as well, so caregivers can take a break and find connection with each other. And lastly, Danny and Mark will actually come out to anyone's homes and provide what we call a caregiver consultation to review all of the long-term services and supports available in Larimer County.
Finally, Madam Chair.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much because I knew there was, I understood there, I recall there was more to the family caregiver program and services. So thank you for adding that. I guess my last thing, and again, a lot of appreciation, gratitude for you folks. God bless. And that is the Office on Aging also produces the resource guide. Can you provide the link to access the online resource guide?
Yes, so that is on the website that I mentioned earlier at larimer.gov/seniors. Scroll down just a little bit on the page and you'll see the link to the English and Spanish guides there.
Okay, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner, any questions or comments? Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Yeah, I have a few, Madam Chair. I don't really have any questions because I've been involved with Office on Aging for a long time. I joined the council for over 4 years when I joined before I became a commissioner because I am a caregiver, and I am now a more involved caregiver as my brother and I are doing a lot more work to take care of my mother, and then we also have some care happening for my mother-in-law at the same time. And so everyone's talking about Halloween on Friday night. I was like, what'd you do? Well, my brother and I spent time with my mother trying to do the medication and the bills and working on trying to figure out the holidays. We're caregivers. We had to hire a caregiver. And it is very hard to take care of your parent when they are maybe not open to all the changes in their life and very frightened, especially when medication is maybe getting complicated. And I want to just shout out to Danny and to Mark for working because it is important. I took care of my grandmother and then my father, and when my mom was fighting breast cancer, I was taking care of everybody and cleaning house and cleaning bathrooms and taking care of all that work besides raising 3 small children. So working while caring and that sandwich situation is very, very stressful. And thank you for sharing all your stories. I can relate. It takes a while to, even though I know all the resources, our loved ones live in other counties, and so trying to navigate that has still been a challenge, even though I know the resources here inside and out very well. And I have always thought our caregiving program for caregivers and all the toolkits and the training and the respite and recognition as we do every May is just outstanding and really important reminder of folks who feel unseen. And it is a challenge to try to care for your loved ones, but you have to have this kind of put that aside and be this caregiver who has to focus on and taking care of your family and making sure all the bills get paid and the medication, the doctor's appointments, and trying to navigate all of that. And so I appreciate you all being here today and sharing your stories because it gave my heart a lift today to know that we're in this together and there is things to do. I wanted to just go back to Mark. I'm glad you shared those numbers for the caregivers because it is an unseen group of unpaid, unseen workforce. And the 600 billion is actually almost 2.5-year-old number. So it's actually probably even larger than that. And it is called the invisible workforce, and so I think that's another thing to stress, that a lot of people might feel invisible, and I think it's also the caregivers that come into the home are not well paid, and so it also to recognize the folks who work for these agencies to help us are maybe not paid a living wage as well, but they're trusted with the care of our loved ones, just like child care caregivers. And I think we, as a nation and as a community, need to understand how important this work is, and how important it is to really to pay folks who are doing this care, because it is a great responsibility to take care of our youth and and to honor and respect our older adults, as we want them to be able to age in place with dignity and grace. I always say that because that was something I learned right away when we first came on. I do want to just highlight that there's a great talk with Senator Elizabeth Warren has a website, and it's an article from Next Avenue, which is really important because she was pushing about the effects to the broader workforce for the personal challenges faced by individual caregivers, because it also impacts their work and their workforce and their employers, and to have employers understand that sometimes employees who are doing caregiver work might show some signs of extra stress and stuff, and to understand those. So I want to shout out to her work. And there's if you haven't signed up for that, look that up. It's a really important website. And also Rosalind Carter Institute, something that Rosalind Carter and Jimmy Carter highlighted along with their work for Habitat for Humanity, was talking about caregivers and employees, and how much time it's called the Working While Caring kind of initiative. And that's another great resource focusing on helping the labor market understand the importance of caregivers who are getting paid, but also not getting paid as taking care of family members. And I appreciate the work that we've done to now start recognizing and bringing in grand families, which is a whole nother layer of folks who need extra help as they're caring for their grandchildren. So with that, I wanted to just say just how much I, for years, have just been coming to these meetings and listening to the stories and trying to support the Office on Aging. I want to shout out to Erin and to Lauren and Nicole as well, who help with the Aging Council. And Erin, I know under your leadership, you're strongly supporting all of these folks as they do their work. And Tiffany and Danny and Mark, as you present to the Office on Aging and share some of these stories, and to bring these two wonderful individuals to here today was tremendous. I want to thank you for sharing your stories. Really touched my heart today, and I will keep you in my heart and my prayers, because I know we're all in this together. And I wish you all the best, to you and your loved ones, as we continue on this journey together. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just echo my thanks for everyone for coming out. This is, I think it's really great to shine a light on the work that caregivers do, because I think that sometimes you feel hidden, and many people don't understand what your lives are like. What I appreciate, Lori and Mitch, you're maintaining your sense of humor during all of this. That was very evident in your remarks, and I think that that's such an important piece of just life, right? I mean, let's step back and be like, okay, this can feel overwhelming, and yet let's find some joy in the work that we do. And so that was just a wonderful part of your presentation, is knowing that you still have that, and I'm appreciative. Thank you for walking us through what a day might be like, and really highlighting some of the supports you receive from the county. Really grateful that the county can be there to support, and that you found that support. I wish you all the best, and today we're here to honor you. So thank you again for being here, and thank you for the work that you do, unpaid and often misunderstood, and certainly under-acknowledged, but that's why we're here today. So great work, and good luck to you as you move through. And we'll go on, and let's see who's reading the proclamation. I think Commissioner Shattuck McNally is reading this one. So, Commissioner, can you read through the proclamation? And also, you're caretaker, so if anybody wants to sit and doesn't want to stand through this whole proclamation and voting part, we'll just call you back up for the photo, if that's fine. You're welcome to stand, but take a load off. So, Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am very honored and proud to read the proclamation for the 2025 National Family Caregivers Month. Whereas family caregivers are the heart and backbone of our community. Approximately 1 in 5 adults in the United States is a family caregiver, translating to about 63 million people providing unpaid care to an adult or child. And whereas family caregivers selflessly dedicate their time, energy, finances, and love to help improve the quality of life for those they care for, and whereas caregiving can take a toll on physical and mental health, many caregivers report high levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. And whereas the contributions of family caregivers often go unrecognized, yet they are critical to the health and well-being of our families, communities, and healthcare system. And whereas we encourage our communities to provide support and appreciation for family caregivers, including respite services, educational programs, and access to resources. And whereas Larimer County is committed to creating a community that honors and supports family caregivers. Now, therefore, we of Larimer County do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Family Caregivers Month, recognizing this year's theme as Plug Into Care. We urge all community members to recognize and celebrate the contributions of family caregivers and to offer support and assistance to those who serve in this critical role. Dated this 4th day of November 2025. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Madam Chair, I move to approve the National Family Caregivers Month proclamation.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We'll stop for a photo. We are back for our fourth and final proclamation, and this one is a proclamation for United Airlines Flight 629 Victims Memorial Day. And so, if anyone tuned in last week, you might remember that we had a guest come. Philip Beerley appeared before the board, and he requested a proclamation in remembrance of the lives lost in the tragic crash of United Airlines Flight 629, which happened near Longmont in November of 1955. And so today's proclamation honors the 44 passengers and crew members who perished that day and recognizes the impact that this tragedy had on families, first responders in our Northern Colorado community. So I will ask Commissioner Kafalis to read maybe an abbreviated version of this proclamation, and then we can make a motion on that. I don't know if folks have comments, but we're very happy to make this proclamation this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Proclamation, November 1st, 2025, United Airlines Flight 629 Victims Memorial Day. Whereas on November 1st, 1955, United Airlines Flight 629 departed from Stapleton Airport in Denver, Colorado, bound for Portland, Oregon. Aboard were 39 passengers, including an infant, and 5 crew members. Just 11 minutes later, tragedy struck when the airliner exploded in midair and crashed onto a sugar beet farm owned by Conrad Hopp near Longmont, Colorado. Whereas this year marks the 70th anniversary of that devastating event, which was later determined by the FBI to be an act of sabotage, laboratory analysis of the wreckage revealed traces consistent with dynamite, and the investigation ultimately led to the identification, confession, and arrest of the individual responsible. Whereas local residents and first responders rushed to the scene, but it soon became heartbreakingly clear that there would be no survivors. Whereas despite the magnitude of the loss and the pain and suffering of the surviving families, no formal memorial has ever been established to honor the 44 innocent victims. As was mentioned, there are 44 names on the proclamation. I will skip over that, not out of disrespect, but also remind people they can see the full wording of the proclamation on the Commissioner's website, so they have that opportunity. Continuing, whereas we are proud to support the efforts of Michael Hess, president of the Denver Police Museum, to change that, a new memorial is being created at Flight CO Tower, located at the site of the former Stapleton International Airport Control Tower. The memorial will bear the names of the victims and recognize the courage and compassion of the first responders. Whereas the Larimer County Board of Commissioners wishes to honor all those who perished in the crash and those who responded to the crash, especially the residents of Weld and Larimer counties, local businesses such as Johnson's Corner, and the families and first responders who supported the investigation and each other during that difficult time. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Larimer County Board of Commissioners that November 1, 2025 be recognized as United Airlines Flight 629 Victims Memorial Day.
Thank you, Commissioner. Does anybody want to make any comments? Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
This happened before I was born, but growing up in Longmont, there was a story of this when I grew up, and I knew many people of the Hop family, so through church and other things, and so I'm just kind of grateful for Mr. Beerley coming to to share this story and remind us of it, and kind of struck that it's 70 years, and even just thinking of what that must have been like to respond to a tragedy of that nature at that time for law enforcement and for everyone that stepped up, from locals and the farmers and the restaurant Johnstown Corner and everything. I just I'm grateful that he came and brought this to remind us, and also I wanted to just shout out to Lori Cadrich, who helped bring us all together and make this proclamation. I know she did a lot of research to make sure we had everything kind of done correctly, and I just wanted to give her a special shout out of gratitude, and thank you to Lorenda too, because you guys worked on kind of this together, and it was a quick turnaround for about a week, I think it was. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm grateful that we kind of just reminding folks of some of these tragedies, and how important it is to maybe get this memorial done to make sure folks aren't forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Follis?
Just appreciation to Mr. Philip Beerley, who came to our meeting, I think, last week, and brought this matter to our attention. He was clearly impacted by this tragic event, so I'm glad we're able to recognize it. I also believe that there was some kind of 70-year anniversary ceremony on Saturday, November 1st. So that is a good thing to remember such events, and I'm glad that this memorial is being championed at the old Stapleton International Airport in the old control tower. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to Mr. Beerley for bringing this forward. I think it is important to remember the innocent victims of this crime, honestly, and to acknowledge the event that still, for the people who experienced that are still alive, was very tragic and life changing in many ways, as Mr. Beerley pointed out. So we're happy to do this proclamation in honor of those folks. With that, Commissioner, I'll have you make the motion.
Yes, I will. I move to approve the proclamation for United Airlines Flight 629, Victims Memorial Day.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we will move on to our next item, which is the county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll keep it short this morning. Just a reminder, as the chair opened the meeting, reminding folks that we will not have an administrative matters meeting next week because of the Veterans Day holiday. So this meeting will not occur next week. And then Monday of next week, there is a budget hearing in this room at 6 o'clock, Monday, November 10th, where we'll talk about the proposed budget and the solid waste fees that may be changed. And so if anyone is interested in appearing in person or in watching online, we encourage everyone to come and participate in that process.
Thank you. Any questions for the county manager? All right, Commissioner Gonzalez, I'll let you start with Commissioner activity reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just mention one event that I attended last week, and that is on Wednesday, October 29th, I attended the NOCO Works Ready. Ready stands for Regional Economic Development Initiative. Their labor market profile of Northern Colorado. They produced a report regarding the workforce in Northern Colorado, Larimer, and Weld counties. They commissioned a group to do the analysis, and the big takeaway is that they developed a really interesting interactive data dashboard. And if you Google Northern Colorado Workforce Analysis, you can access that information. It has demographics, it has information about commuting patterns, how people work one place and live somewhere else. And it also talks about talent demand, defining particular industry sectors where there's a great demand in terms of occupations. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I just wanted to share a few things last week. It was a really fast week. I want to just give a shout out to Portia and to Michelle Bird and to Connor McGrath and Leslie Ellis and everyone who did a tremendous job with our groundbreaking out at the ranch for the master plan groundbreaking for phase 2, which is really the Great Lawn. It was very windy and very cold, but very meaningful. And thanks again to the Iron Family dancers for dancing and blessing. The 2 songs were for healing and for Mother Earth and for acknowledging the land. That's an ancestral land. And so I've really found that moving. And I'm grateful that we all could be there together to celebrate and to do that. I had the Youth Mental Health Task Force on Wednesday. Well, actually, it wasn't on Wednesday, it was on Thursday, but I'll talk about that in a second. We had our Colorado Force Health Council meeting, full council meeting with the virtually, and we approved our 30-year vision for the 2025 Forest Vision for Colorado, and that will be coming out shortly as a news and press release. And so that's getting printed, and as soon as, if my colleagues are interested, as soon as that is for public consumption, I will get that to you if you're interested. I did attend the Adapting Through Change presentation that Josh Fudge, our public our PBS, what's the P? Performance Budget and Strategy Director, and along with folks from CSU, UC Health, and City of Fort Collins and others to present on the federal impacts and changes and how that impacts us as a region. And it was really well attended. It was full. It was down here at the Visit Fort Collins Wellness Welcome Center. And I think really what everyone talked about is all the ones that they have done now. And several hundred people have attended these now to learn and listen. A lot of people were struck at how the county is impacted and how we can't do certain things in the cities and how this all related is. It's very unique for us all as a region to really pair together and have these conversations and look at how these impacts work together. And I just wanted to give that a shout out because I think it's important to recognize and honor and not be grateful for kind of the partnerships and collaborations we have. And I want to give a shout to all of our partners. I attended the Fire Lives Here, which was a film screening that was held at the Wolverine Farm Public House. It was standing room only. It was a full house, and this was put on by the NOCO Fire Shed. It was filmed locally and did focus on some of the impacts from the Alexander Mountain Fire and featured some of those homeowners that were impacted in the story and talking about how mitigation had helped and really the role for beneficial fire, as I call it, or prescribed fire, is needed on the landscape. And I wanted to shout out to Josh Roberts from our Office of Emergency Management, as he's a mitigation specialist who presented along with Daniel Backer from Coalition for Poudre Watershed and their partnership, and Karina and all of those at the NOCO Fire Shed. It was a really well done and a great conversation, and a lot of community members were left pretty jazzed and excited to take action. So I appreciate that opportunity. And then we did have the Youth Mental Health Task Force at Topsa School District on Thursday morning, and that was really great. The county was represented well with some folks from Amy Martonis and Madeline from the Behavioral Health Services Department, and the health department was there from Larimer County, and I want to shout out to Dr. Gerald Olson, and we and lots of folks from Poudre School District, Thompson School District, and from Boys and Girl Club, and lots of folks who are really seeing the impacts from youth. We had a presentation from the Colorado Department of Education on multiple tiers support systems and how where we all fit in and how we all can support through those. And we talked about kind of thinking ahead of what these changes to SNAP and HR 1 and how that's going to impact families, and what maybe we need to think about how those are going to impact in the long term, especially for folks. And then I also had the joint Colorado Fire Commission, Colorado Forest Health Commission or Council prescribed for subcommittee as we're working to implement the recommendations from that council. and really important work. We had our beam topping out at the Emergency Services Building out north of Fort Collins. Excited to see that progress, and shout out to the sheriff and Justin Whitesell and Ken Cooper and all David and everyone involved with all that, and to Jay Dunn. That group for a really cool afternoon, and it was great to see those the building and the progress. And I was talking with the sheriff, when we think about the current emergency services building and how much they've overgrown and where that's at, we were looking at one of the bays and thinking that whole building could fit inside. The current building could fit inside one of those bays, and so they just so desperately need this new building and to be able to serve and have enough room for all those folks. And it was just really exciting to see, and thanks for the invitation. And then we had our annual inspection of the county jail with my colleagues. We're all there, and it was really impactful. And we had our wildfire town hall on Thursday night. I hosted with the Colorado Insurance Commissioner Michael Conway and the Colorado State Forester and Executive Director of Colorado State Forest Service, along with some folks from Larimer County, Dakota, and Josh and everyone. We had pretty much everyone from all four corners in the middle of the county. It was really impactful, a lot of great conversations. And I'm really excited. Even Tosa Valley had 3 folks come down, and so I really appreciated that. And we talked about, they have some new numbers for Larimer County and how fire and hail are impacting our homeowners insurance and what we need to do to kind of help stabilize the market and things. So when I get that, they're going to finalize some of that data, but they only looked at 11 county out of the 64, but it's pretty impactful data, and I appreciate the work he had to share with us about how this is impacting our homeowners insurance, which impacts the affordability of housing. I did go to the Veterans Stand Down event at Presbyterian Church off of Mulberry and College, and thanks again to Lee Cooper and Savannah and to Tricia for just being amazing and doing some cool things there. I had a community conversation on Saturday in Loveland, and appreciate Matthew Behaman coming to talk about budget. I even got to ask some questions to dive in a little bit more. We had the Heart and Soul Dios de los Muertos celebration, and they were that building has its opening in the next week, but the Heart and Soul got to be the inaugural event for the reopening of the Pullen building, which was built in 1937, had gotten some funds from Congressman DeGoose several years ago, and lots of fundraising. And so the Pullen building, this historic building that was built with public dollars and the work core back after the Depression, really historic, beautiful building on site. It's kind of plain on the outside, but if you get inside, it's just beautiful and really amazing. And I was really grateful to participate. And then on Sunday, I drove up. Saturday night, Rocky Mountain Conservancy had a big event, and all the former and current superintendents and many other folks were up there. And it was a great event to talk about Rocky, and thankful for the federal workers up there, and talk about some conservation efforts there. I volunteer for them, so full disclosure, I got to volunteer with them in Rocky National Park in a couple of events, planting some restoration plants, and it's just great to see some fundraising to continue that work to support Rocky, especially during the shutdown. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just mention a couple things. Attended a lot of the same events that Commissioner Shattuck McNally spoke of, as did Commissioner Kafalis. So both the groundbreaking at the ranch and the topping out at emergency services and the jail tour, I think we're all at those events. I will mention that I was attended on Thursday night. The White Line Foundation had an event called Route to Change, and that was where they invited a lot of people involved in transportation planning to hear the stories of people who had been victims of traffic accidents and their families. Very difficult conversations there around how we protect one another, and just very tragic stories. So that was hard to hear, and yet really, made many of us more determined to make sure that we put in place safety measures that protect people on our roads and bridges, and that we provide good pedestrian and bike infrastructure. And, I had mentioned that we had identified $650 million worth of projects in our transportation plan, many of which are safety related, and that we were moving on to want to create a safer environment for the people who live here. A very, very important event, and really glad that I got to participate in that. And the only other thing I'll add is that I attended the Works Allocation Committee meeting on Friday. And I think that the good thing is that there's efforts for the state to align with the Works Allocation Committee representatives on making sure or looking at ways that we can keep TANF, temporary assistance for needy families, sustainable and solvent, which is really important because it does protect and take care of many of our most vulnerable people in our community, including young single parents with children. And so we did align on kind of looking at revisions to basic cash assistance, addressing the 60-month extension and some of the other legislation that had been passed earlier when TANF was thought to be more solvent than it really is. So I think that this is a really good path going forward because we'll be able to make sure that those dollars remain in place for the people who need them the most. So that is it for me, and we have no legal matters this morning. So
Madam Chair, could I just make a comment about that?
Sure.
I just want to thank you for bringing that report and to give that update. I think that's really impactful, and I'm glad to hear all of that. And I just wanted to publicly thank you for your work. And I know it's some extra meetings, and I'm just grateful for your efforts there. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. So with that, it's 11:01, and we are adjourned. Thank you.